of my work is in education, and I see that in universities and in schools. I see people who are disengaged, and we have to learn how they're engaged in the social space, because for me, disengagement in both work and in education is one of the big challenges that we all face. It's no coincidence that the top three most desirable companies to work for are highly innovative and have a highly engaged workforce. So 11% of employees would claim to be engaged around the world. That's a shockingly low percentage. The stats really do get depressing. Engaged employees 20 times more likely to be creative at work, so we know it pays to be engaged. We know there's a direct connection between engagement and innovation and productivity. I've just written this book, which is called Open, and in doing some of the research, I talked to people in business and I talked to social enterprises, and I looked at what happens when people are able to learn for themselves through choice. If you think about the first purchase you ever made on eBay, I remember it very well. I thought, well, that's the last I'll see of that money. But you know, we actually now trust one another, and those sites rely on that. So I've boiled it down to what I think are the 6 motivations, the 6 drivers that really power open learning. And I'd like to share them with you. And as I go through them, I'd like you just to think about how you can bring them in to your work and your relationship, not only to your employees, but also to your customers. Number 3, we want to do it with friends. We want to be collegial. If ever you've been on meetup.com, it's a website, they help facilitate 50,000 meetings a week around the world, and they are of any kind of interest. I once put in, just for fun, I put in drunken philosophers to see what would come up. And there is a group in Singapore of drunken philosophers. They actually meet in Raffles Hotel and they get drunk and talk about philosophy. But there's another group in Seattle, and there's groups all around the world. So this idea that technology was going to make us stay at home, it's nonsense. We want to meet up and we want to communicate and collaborate with people. Last one, do it for the world to see. We expect now high visibility for our actions, and in fact, it's a great motivation. There's a young 9-year-old in Scotland called Martha Payne, and she wants to be a journalist. She asked her father, what should she do? He said, oh, you should really start a blog. So she went into school and thought, what will I write about? So she thought, I'll write about the school lunches. So she took a photograph of everything that she had to eat, and she would give it marks out of 10 for taste or portion size. As you can see by this photograph, the portion sizes were tiny. The school, after about 4 or 5 days, this was starting to go viral. It was all around the world. The school did the dumbest thing possible. It asked Martha Payne to take down her blog. So the next day, Jamie Oliver tweeted it. And 9 million people later had seen this blog. And the school realized the futility of its ways and that it should actually be trying to improve its meals rather than stop a 9-year-old from blogging about it. But to go back to the other one about generosity, what Martha Payne's now been able to do through 9 million hits is turn a blog into a book, and the sales from the book now feed 25 kids in Malawi their lunch every day. Really fantastic story. We're all comfortable now with sharing, and in fact, it's a great incentive for the world to see what we're up to. So they are kind of the 6 do-its, so the 6 motivators, really. And I'd just like you to pause and reflect, and perhaps we can pick up on this in the discussion about how many of these you can bring into your work and into your relationships with customers. Because engaging customers and engaging employees, as far as I'm concerned, is the biggest challenge that we've got. I think that any organization's success is going to be determined by the depth of its engagement that it has with its employees and with its customers. So just about going to finish on time, and then perhaps we can have a discussion. But I'd like to leave you really with this challenge, which I think faces you in your work, faces me in my work. How can we add value to the lives of people who want to be more engaged, more empowered, and more in control of every aspect of how they work, live, and learn? Thanks a lot for listening.